Well, buckle up because things are about to get intense. Just this past Monday, something massive happened that blindsided the entire country. In fact, the fallout is only getting started. And if you think you know what happened in New York, guess again, because I've got one heck of a report to share with you. Well, before I begin, just a quick shout out to my sponsor, Noble Gold Investments. Look, as we wrap up 2025, one thing is clear: uncertainty, it's not temporary. It's the world in which we live in right now. Waiting for things to get back to normal is not a plan, it's a gamble. That's why Noble Gold Investments helps everyday Americans like yourself protect what they have built with real, tangible gold and silver that holds value when everything else feels uncertain. So this holiday season, I want to encourage you that the best gift that you can give your friends and family isn't necessarily a gift under the tree. It is a real peace of mind. In order to do that, go to lisahavengold.com, fill out this information, and they'll send you a free wealth protection kit. On top of that, you can even give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. And you're going to want to talk to one of their no-hassle specialists, and make sure you bring up my name, because right now they are giving away, this thing is beautiful, up to 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with any new or qualified account. So make sure you bring my name up on that. By the way, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee. If you want more information, click that more button or click the link in the description box below. So let's dive in to this Monday massacre that happened. And for that, I'm going to take you guys directly to the New York Times, a leftist rag, by the way. But anyway, Trump administration fires 8 immigration judges in New York. The firing, part of a nationwide effort, felt like a Monday afternoon massacre, said one judge who lost her job last month. The article goes on to state this: the Trump administration fired 8 immigration judges in New York City on Monday, according to 2 people with knowledge on the matter. All the judges were dismissed from the immigration court's offices at 26 Federal Plaza, a building that houses the New York City headquarters for the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agency that has become the epicenter of migrant arrest in the cities. The 8 judges included Armenia A. Khan, the assistant chief immigration judge at 26 Federal Plaza, who supervises other judges there. And I'm going to hit the pause button. Hallelujah, because when I show you what's been going on in New York, you guys are going to be like, hell yeah, that Donald Trump fired these judges. And by the way, these judges, these immigration courts, right, they're under the control of the Justice Department, which is under the control of the Donald Trump's administration. So thank God, because we need to get these judges out of there who are not doing their job. But anyway, it goes on to expand what has been going on. And it says before Monday, prior to that little Monday massacre, about 90 immigration judges had been fired this year across the U.S., including 6 in New York City. There are about 600 immigration judges nationwide. According to federal officials, union officials said that 36 of the fired judges had been replaced nationwide, including 2 in New York. Quote, "The court has been basically eviscerated," said Olivia Kassan, who was fired from her job as an immigration judge at another New York City courthouse in November. Ms. Kassan said that she had the job for more than a decade. It feels like a Monday afternoon massacre. Well, there's that. I guess the little judges and judges over there are complaining because, you know, Donald Trump's administration has fired them because literally they are not doing their job. In fact, there was epic backlash or lashback, whatever the term is. There was epic lash out. There it is. There was epic lash out from these judges. They actually went on CBS Evening News and had an entire hissy fit with that. And I'll show you just a small clip of it due to copyright reasons, but take a listen to what went down here. And these are the judges, right? But take a watch.
The administration says repeatedly, these folks are here illegally. That's breaking the law. They got to go. Do they have a point?
Well, that's why they're in proceedings in court. There is law that we're applying, and they might have to go. They might not.
What?
So first of all, they admit they might have to go. They might not. And that's why they're in proceedings. But it goes on and gets a little more extreme. Take a listen.
What's at stake here?
It's really the future of our country. If the funding is going to enforcement and there is no justice left, that shows that our country is no longer embracing the need for due process and for justice.
That's a big statement. The future of the country is at stake here. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. If you're attacking the very judges that adjudicate cases, there's not going to be a rule of law. That should concern everybody, not just immigrants, but U.S. citizens.
So, the future of our country is at stake. I lost my job and the future of our country is at stake. Probably because you weren't doing your job. I mean, you're talking about due process here and how basically it could take, hundreds of years for these people to actually go through everything these judges want, which is kind of the point, right? So therefore, look, these illegal immigrants came into our country without due process. They didn't come in legally. They didn't follow the law. They are criminals. That's a fact, whether she wants to admit it or not. And yet, they're complaining because ICE is doing their job, removing them after having gone through the court proceeding. Hello, how much due process do you need? I just had a court proceeding, and you're like, no, we're going to let these criminals stay. Speaking of, right? I'm sure that some of these judges that got fired may have attributed to this big, bad issue that we have been having. By the way, this should piss off every American. Gateway pundit outrage. New York quietly releases nearly 7,000 dangerous illegal migrants, including rapists, killers, terrorists, and repeat offenders with zero notice to ICE. By the way, just a fact here, when ICE puts a detainer on a person, judges are not necessarily, they don't have to respond, right? Unfortunately, that's not, we need to make it a law, right? But anyway, you would rightly respond, especially if these people were criminals. We're not talking, slap on the hand kind of stuff. We're talking killers and terrorists and repeat offenders here. And these judges, and I'm not saying it's those specific judges, it's a lot of them, are letting these criminals go. If you and I committed a crime, robbery, terrorist, killed someone, raped someone, we would go to jail and we would be held. And many of us probably even without bail. This is not what is going on with these criminals. Let me show you how bad it is. This is why I have a massive issue with it. And that's why these judges are getting let go. New York's radical sanctuary policies have reached a catastrophic breaking point. ICE Director Todd Lyons has issued an explosive letter to the AG there in New York, Letitia James, oh, lovely woman, demanding immediate action after state and local officials quietly released nearly 7,000 criminal illegal aliens, including rapists, killers, gang members, and repeat violent offenders, without honoring ICE detainers and without a single notification to federal authorities. Since January 20th, New York has released 6,947 criminal illegals back into the streets. And here's their offenses, right? Woo! You've got everything from homicides, 2,509 assaults, burglaries, about 200, 300-ish robberies, about 400 drug offenses, 300 weapon, and 207 predatory offenses, right? But things get even worse than that because it goes on. Worse, another 7,113 criminal aliens remain in New York custody today, all with active ICE detainers that state officials are ignoring. Okay, and here's the stuff that they have. And you can see large, massive numbers of all the same similar things. This is a disaster, and quite frankly, an engineered disaster. There is no other way to see that. They're engineering this crap, and they are keeping their city unsafe, and they're letting go criminals. We don't get that. If we commit a crime, we go to jail. The hell they should get let out. I mean, what the hell is this? They won't even turn them into ICE to be deported, nor are they keeping some of them in jail. No, they get out over and over and over and over again, because they're not legal citizens and there's not a whole lot they could do about it. It's almost as if it's done on purpose. Yeah, it basically is. Now, the Department of Homeland Security has put these states on notice, California, New York, and Illinois, on notice for failure to honor criminal illegal alien detainers. And this is from the Homeland Security, right? But basically it says they sent these letters to these 3 areas, and they sent it on September 10th. So a couple of months ago-ish, or yeah, a couple months ago. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons instructed relevant state officials to respond within 2 days to indicate whether they intended to honor thousands of ICE detainers on criminal illegals within their jurisdictions, and whether they would continue to place their states in danger. We have received a response from 2 of them. Illinois and New York said, nah, we're not going to honor that. And California just didn't respond. And I believe they even sent follow-up letters. And basically the bottom line is, even with the follow-up letters, they're refusing to respond, or they're saying, no, we're not going to do your orders. We're going to continue to live in our sanctuary cities. And to that, I would say, Donald Trump administration, you need to pull any and all federal funding from those states who are disobeying the orders and who are disobeying and breaking the law. Pull the federal funding. If we're giving anything for these illegal immigrants, you need to pull the funding ASAP, and they could take it to court and the whole 9 yards. But they go on to list a lot of these criminal acts. We have offenders who have messed with children, hit and run, inflicting injury on spouses, battery, trespassing, oral issues with little ones, DUIs, aggravated assaults. We have prostitution, drugs, the whole 9 yards. But the list goes on, including burglary, shoplifting, murder, and everything. So this is the kind of stuff that they are standing against. Meanwhile, you know how the left continues to respond? They're threatening lawfare. Right, here's right now, Oregon far left governor has just threatened to do likewise. This is on Zero Hedge. Oregon's far left governor threatens lawfare against ICE agents. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has put her state, one of the most progressive in the United States, on a collision course with the Trump administration, threatening to investigate DHS. If necessary, bring criminal charges against ICE. Right? They shared a video and talked about how they're breaking the law. But here's the biggest threat, right? And this is towards the end, because we know Kotek is not the only one threatening this. We also have Pritzker, right? He's gone further and suggested that the Trump administration could eventually face prosecution in their state, and basically says the tables have turned, and that these people should recognize that maybe they're not going to get prosecuted today, although we're looking at doing that, but they may get prosecuted after the Trump administration because the statute of limitations would not run out. That's a threat, by the way. So basically what Pritzker is saying is, we're not going to prosecute you while you're in charge, but once you get out, we're going after you, and we're going to go after your administration. Maybe they'll go after Hegseth. Maybe they'll go after some ICE agents. Maybe they'll go after the leaders of in the ICE agents, the ones at the top, the high officials, the high officers. That's a threat, because the thing is, ICE is doing the job they were told to do by the Trump administration. And here Pritzker is saying, we are going to prosecute you when you are no longer in office. Wow. You know what's weird, right? Is we have yet to arrest anyone on our side, but yet they have arrested hundreds of ours under the Biden administration, including Donald J. Trump, right? And his managers, Rudy Giuliani, those who are associated, his lawyers, even J6ers. But for some reason, this is acceptable. We can allow that to go on, and we can allow this threat, and they'll live by it. I have every aspect. I am losing faith that anybody will ever be charged of a crime that they committed, so long as they're Democrat. I'm sorry, but I am really and honestly losing faith in that. But anyway, makes me sick that here's an open threat. I know that they're going to follow through. This is why it's so terrifying in our future of our country, because we're headed into that place once Democrats get in charge again. And if we keep on the pace that we're at with this MAGA infighting, it's going to happen, folks. And we're in Schitt's Creek by then, and you will see many of us put behind bars. Anyhow, just got to share that with you. I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.